Sagoi Swagwake. Hello everyone, welcome to Ngwakwa, Our Foods. Today we're going to show you how we make Three Sisters corn soup. We grow most of the ingredients on our farm, Ngwakwa, Jitnu ni Ungwaya Toslu, Our Foods, where we plant things. This recipe is great any time of the year and is a perfect addition to any event as a vegan or vegetarian option. We hope to have more on our foods in future videos, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and click on notifications for new uploads. Historically, our people planted the three sisters, corn, beans, and squash, together in mounds. The three sisters grow together and help each other out. The corn grows tall and strong and serves as a pole for the beans to climb. The beans put nitrogen back into the soil. The squash spreads on the ground to prevent weeds from growing and to keep the moisture in the soil. They also keep animals out of the garden because the animals don't like to walk through their prickly stems and leaves. In addition to the benefits of growing these crops together, we also benefit from eating them together as well. When we hull our corn and hardwood ashes, this is a process called nixtamalization. This increases the amount of calcium and niacin in the corn for our bodies to absorb and improves the quality of its protein. The hardwood ashes also contain a large amounts of calcium and potassium. Hulled corn also contains slow-release carbohydrates that can help regulate and prevent diabetes. The beans and squash also contain calcium, along with their complementary amino acids. Combining the beans and squash with corn forms complete proteins. More benefits include riboflavin that the beans provide, carbohydrates and vitamin A that the squash flesh provides, and quality vegetable fats that the squash seeds provide. In addition to the other vegetables this recipe calls for, this dish is a powerhouse of nutritional value. In a previous video, we showed you how we hull our corn. If you're not familiar with that process, be sure to check it out. Alternatively, you can use dehydrated white corn that some of our communities sell. To get ready for this soup, we generally start the day before. We hull our corn and cook our beans the day before we make the rest of the soup. This isn't necessary, but we think it makes the process go much smoother. To make our soup, we will need the following ingredients: 1 pound of raw white corn, 1 cup of hardwood ashes, 1 cup of dried beans, 4 cups of winter squash. Since it's summertime, I cooked some squash over the winter, 1 tomato, 1 onion, 2 celery stalks or pieces, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 parsnips, 4 carrots, 2 cartons of vegetable stock, about 4 cups each, 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 cup of pepitas as a garnish. Remember to check out our video on how to hull corn. For the sake of time, we're not going to cover that process in this video. Also, since it's summertime right now and we don't have any winter squash from last year, we're going to use some squash we cooked and froze in the winter. We hope to have videos in the future about different ways to preserve squash. In addition to the items we will use for hulling the corn and that we used for cooking the squash, we will also use the following cooking instruments: a small crock pot, measuring cups, measuring spoons, a knife, a cutting board, a potato peeler, a crinkle cutter, a garlic press, a cooking pot, and a blender. We generally start this soup the night before to make the cooking process go smoother. You can certainly do this all in one day if you would like. The day before, we hull the corn and put it in the refrigerator. We put the beans in a crock pot on low overnight to cook and cube up the squash and put it in a crock pot on low overnight to cook. The next morning, we drain and rinse the beans and put them in the refrigerator until we're ready to cook with them. We also puree the squash and put that in the refrigerator until we're ready to cook with it. The next day, we cut up the tomato, onion, celery, and garlic, and then put them in the blender to puree them. Then we put the puree in a cooking pot. We stir in the basil and cumin and simmer for 10 minutes. After the puree simmers for 10 minutes, we pour in 1 carton of vegetable stock. If you want to be extra self-sufficient, you can even make your own vegetable stock. Keep the soup simmering on low heat. Peel and chop up the parsnips and carrots. We like to use a crinkle cutter for this, but a regular knife would work as well. Add the parsnips and carrots to the cooking pot. Simmer until tender. This can take an hour or more, depending on how firm or tender you like your carrots and parsnips. Next, add the corn, beans, and squash puree to the cooking pot. Add more vegetable stock if you want to have a thinner soup. Keep the soup simmering until it's heated through. When it's heated through, it's ready to eat. We like to sprinkle pepitas on our soup. Enjoy! We are still learning about our foods. People have different ways of preparing our foods. We're sharing the way we learned how. One of the most amazing parts about this journey to get to know our foods better is that it is connecting us to so many people throughout the Haudenosaunee Confederacy and throughout Indian country. If you have any methods you want to share, please feel free to drop them in the comments or send us an email. Yawan, Danito.